The compatibility between Orthodox Christianity and libertarian anarcho-capitalism is a subject that demands profound analysis, as it encompasses theological, philosophical, and economic dimensions. The central premise of this discourse is to explore how two seemingly distinct currents, a religious tradition of profound spiritual orientation and a political and economic philosophy grounded in individual sovereignty and the absence of state coercion, can harmonize in their theoretical and practical foundations. Orthodox Christianity is among the oldest Christian traditions, with roots in the early Church and a strong emphasis on conciliar doctrines, such as the Nicene and Chalcedonian creeds. It prioritizes the pursuit of union with God, theosis, and the cultivation of Christian virtues such as love, charity, and humility. Christian ethics are rooted in the Bible, which underscores human freedom as a moral agent responsible for personal choices, with such freedom bounded solely by divine law. Anarcho-capitalism, or ANCAP, is a specific branch of libertarianism that seeks the complete elimination of the state, replacing it with a social and economic order entirely predicated on market mechanisms and voluntary contracts. It is distinct from classical libertarianism, which often tolerates a minimal state for basic functions, such as defense and law enforcement. In contrast, anarcho-capitalism rejects any form of coercive government, proposing that all functions traditionally associated with the state be conducted through private mechanisms. Austro-libertarianism, on the other hand, represents a strand of libertarian thought deeply influenced by the Austrian School of Economics, which provides the theoretical and methodological foundations for anarcho-capitalism. Thinkers such as Ludwig von Mises, Murray Rothbard, and Hans Hermann Hoppe are central to this context, with Rothbard serving as the primary architect of anarcho-capitalism as a coherent system of ethics and economics. The interconnection among these three schools of thought highlights how anarcho-capitalism synthesizes the ethical foundations of libertarianism with the economic tools of the Austrian school. Beyond the distinctions among anarcho-capitalism, libertarianism, and Austro-libertarianism, the three concepts are interdependent and mutually reinforcing. Libertarianism provides the ethical and philosophical groundwork rooted in respect for individual sovereignty and natural rights. Austro-libertarianism offers the economic and methodological structure for comprehending the advantages of the free market. Anarcho-capitalism, in turn, integrates these principles by envisioning a society where the absence of state coercion allows individual freedom and spontaneous order to reach their fullest potential. This synergy makes anarcho-capitalism a logical and practical extension of libertarian ideas and a vital bridge to engage with Orthodox Christianity's values of individual responsibility and morality. While Orthodox Christianity, with its transcendental focus, and libertarian anarcho-capitalism, centered on material and practical issues, might appear antithetical at first glance, there are significant intersections that enable a profoundly productive dialogue between the two traditions. Both Orthodox Christianity and anarcho-capitalism share a central vision of freedom. In Christianity, freedom is regarded as a divine gift that allows humans to choose between good and evil. Biblical passages such as Galatians 5:1 "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free," and to Corinthians 3:17 "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom," affirm this notion. In anarcho-capitalism, freedom is the ethical and political foundation, wherein individuals are free to make decisions that do not infringe on others' rights. This freedom is operationalized through the market, where voluntary interactions foster prosperity and cooperation. Christian doctrine upholds the principle of subsidiarity, which asserts that decisions should be made at the most immediate level capable of addressing an issue, promoting individual and communal responsibility. This resonates with the libertarian view of spontaneous order, wherein social and economic systems function optimally when they arise from free and voluntary interactions, as articulated by Friedrich Hayek. A biblical example can be found in Acts 2:40-47, where the early Christians lived in communion, sharing their possessions voluntarily, and without state coercion. This illustrates a model of organization based on free cooperation rather than centralized imposition. Orthodox Christianity condemns coercion and unjust violence, principles aligned with the libertarian non-aggression axiom. The prohibitions against murder and theft in the Ten Commandments Exodus 20 exemplify a moral order that is also central to anarcho-capitalism. Murray Rothbard, in The Ethics of Liberty, argues that the foundation of social justice is respect for private property and individual freedom, reflecting an ethos compatible with Christian morality. The market economy encourages voluntary charity, a virtue highly esteemed in Orthodox Christianity. For instance, St. John Chrysostom preached that wealth should be used to aid the poor, but charity must be a free act, not one imposed. This perspective contrasts with the statist model, which libertarians argue relies on coercive taxation and other regressive impositions. Christ taught that serving others is a path to sanctity. Mark 10:43-45. In the free market, entrepreneurs serve others by providing goods and services that meet their needs. Ludwig von Mises, in his magnum opus Human Action, explains that the pursuit of profit in the market is, in fact, a service to society, as profits only arise by satisfying others' desires. Although orthodoxy does not explicitly reject the existence of governments, it recognizes the dangers of state power. In 1 Samuel 8, the prophet Samuel warns Israel about the abuses of a king, describing government as an institution that oppresses and exploits. This critique aligns with libertarian views, which see the state as a coercive monopoly. Examples such as the 𝕸𝖐𝖆 communities in the United States demonstrate how Christian groups can organize autonomously, adhering to principles of freedom, responsibility, and the absence of state coercion. The Orthodox Church in the diaspora has often thrived in market economies, where the faithful could build churches and institutions voluntarily, without relying on state subsidies. A significant challenge is the consumerism and materialism often associated with capitalism, which may seem contrary to elevated Christian spirituality. However, this critique can be mitigated by recognizing that the definition of capitalism upheld by Austro-libertarians is that of a system based on private ownership of the means of production, free markets, and voluntary interactions. This model differs from other interpretations by emphasizing the absence of coercion, including the rejection of the state's interventionist role, which is seen as a distorting force through regulations, taxes, and subsidies. It also refutes conceptions that associate capitalism with corporatism, exploitation, and other immoral or unethical practices, arguing that these arise from state intervention rather than the free market. For Austro-libertarians, genuine capitalism is an ethical and efficient system that fosters peaceful cooperation and spontaneous prosperity values that align strongly with the Christian worldview. While Orthodox Christianity emphasizes social justice, libertarians argue that the market is the best mechanism to achieve this goal, provided it operates without coercive interference.